If you're a buyer talking to a seller, even a broker representing said seller, the last thing that you should probably do is start throwing out 16 LOIs a week and hoping one hits. There's nothing that kind of ruins a reputation more than doing that.
Welcome to the Before You Buy or Sell a Business podcast, where we help buyers and sellers learn more about the acquisition process, discuss recent transactions, and stay up to date on the latest news in the market. Here's your host, Jared Johnson.
All right, so today I got Connor Young on the podcast. Connor is one of the founders, I believe, of Kairo Data. Want to hear about your background, and then we'll jump into your platform and how that works. And I'm sure we'll pick up a lot of good advice along the way. So thanks for coming on. Maybe we can start with your background, how you kind of got into the acquisition SMB space.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jared. I'm super excited. We kind of have a unique background with working with businesses, so small businesses to say specifically, but co-founders and I, we each actually started in the investment space. Still work with tons of clients that you can think of traditional wealth management or financial planning, but around 2020 and good old COVID that hit the world, that changed up or brought in lots of different investors that said, can you help me with alternatives? So commercial real estate or private equity, that focus on small to medium-sized businesses. And we did lots of research, underwriting, just kind of worked with people looking at deals or different types of investments. And then they asked the big old great question of, hey, this is really good. I love looking at this type of deal, Connor, but it's a huge competition. It's bidding war. Can you find this exact same thing off market? So we said, don't know how to do that, but we're sure happy to try to figure it out and then kind of expand and grow from there. So 4 years later, we've been able to work with tons of really great clients, people that are after trying to buy or maybe even sell businesses, but tons of it being on market, but lots of off market proprietary deals that we found just through outsource or searching or whatever. But yeah, put that all on our platform where people can access data and deals and go from there.
Yeah, that's great. So we get a lot of people that are asking, hey, how can I find a deal or find a business for sale outside of kind of the normal biz buy sell or,
Sure.
Maybe hounding a business broker and hoping that they'll bring something to them before anybody else does. So we're always trying to find a way to kind of make that easier. And I feel like a lot of companies have maybe tried to do it, have struggled with it a little bit. And then from there, I've seen a lot of people that are searching kind of try to come up with their own way of finding off-market deals or essentially finding a seller that didn't know they were a seller or maybe in the back of their mind were kind of thinking about it. And so they're almost trying to talk them into selling the business. And I've heard all kinds of things from people door knocking to people buying lists to call. I've heard of people using others like overseas to cold call and try to set up appointments and calls. So it's pretty interesting. People are getting very creative with it and it's come a long way. And as you mentioned, even since 2020, it's really changed drastically. So I'm excited to kind of get into the platform and you kind of show us how it works, not only from a buy side, but also seller. And hopefully it'll give people a good tool to be able to find deals outside of just the normal way of searching.
No, you hit the nail on the head. You're exactly right. That's the tired of biz buy sell or whatever type of listing site is there. Whether it's fatigue or exhaustion, who knows? But we're happy to give an alternative. And if it's finding data using different sources, we've built everything our own proprietary database, like I said, ourselves. So we take a lot of pride in trying to perfect that, make it better, more accurate, you name it.
Cool. Well, maybe the easiest thing to do would be share your screen and we can kind of go through. So if anybody's not watching on YouTube, probably switch to that, or we'll do the best we can to be descriptive and try to explain what's going on.
So this is just the kind of fast version of our platform as a whole. So you can check out our homepage, and then if you sign up, you can get a free account and start looking at deals immediately. You are kind of constrained and restricted for how many deals you can look at per month. But if you were to log in, what we typically do is just with all public data out there on different listing websites or whatever have you will have different deals. So it could be from, your biz buy sells, your biz quest, your broker websites, you name it. You can see just going through the different deals. I believe we're close to like 1,600 different types of deals on here. You can filter by different industries. So there's a filtering section on the right. You can even create your own buy box criteria that's custom. You can tell us what industries you're after, how many employees, what revenue, EBITDA you're after. You can source, or I guess filter, kind of sort deals by the revenue, price, cash flow, EBITDA, SDE, location, even choosing a state here in the US. And then being able to, this is a fantastic looking kind of pool design company, get summary, numbers on it. And then if I were to go to the exact link, I can click that and be directed to the broker themselves. One of the cool things that we're trying to do that we've been hit up quite a lot, especially by brokers, is to just create the message center itself within our platform. So all of these buyers and people looking at businesses can talk directly to the brokers within, the website right here. So that's to come. But if you're looking at different deals, all of these are aggregated under a 5.5 multiple. And then we even have by deal type off market that people can check out. So they can go through, examine all of these. And I mean, if we were to look at one of these right here, this actually has a company, gives you information, and then individual business owners information. They have told us specifically, hey, I would be open to having conversation, wanting to talk about maybe hearing offers or a discussion to see what it looks like to maybe sell my business. People can sign up and they can get immediate access directly to them, which is great. Leads wise, and then data. I won't pull this because it might actually, I could. For the data itself, we have over 18 million plus businesses that are stored within our internal database. And so you can sort by city, zip code, and then you can choose all these different industries. You can clear them all out or stick with home services or landscaping, whatever it might be, and find the businesses, the business name, city, different contact elements. So phone number, email, address, website, social links if we have them, and all of that to just be able to save to different lists right here. So you can create your own data lists. And then, like you said earlier, Jared, on the call, you can go about the cold calling, cold emailing, texting, letters, whatever you want, by just generating all of that data. So one of the cool things about us is we're not Grata, we're not SourceScrub, we're not ZoomInfo, who are all charging $15,000, $18,000 a year in terms of just accessing the database. People can sign up, they can use this, get the data, get the deals for just $49 a month.
Cool. All right. So maybe we can go back to the deals real quick and then
Sure.
kind of just do an example of one. So you're sourcing this information. The on-market stuff is going to come from several different sites and kind of pool it together. So it's saving people from having to go from one site to the next, to the next, to the next. And then also even from there, going to all the big brokerage houses sites and looking through it. So I hate to use this analogy, but could we say it's like the kayak of like searching for
Yes.
business?
No, that's a
Okay.
fantastic analogy. I haven't used that before. Sure. If you're a
All
travel
right. Well,
junkie,
feel free to
it would
use it.
be exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, we aggregate it all.
Okay, cool. That's great. And then, so if somebody said, I'm looking for what I hear almost every day, 1 million to 2 million in EBITDA, service-based company in such and such geographic location. So if somebody said, hey, I want to look in the DFW market for something at 1 million to 1.5 million in EBITDA, and it was a plumbing
Sure.
contractor, it could narrow it all the way down to that by going to one site. You're not having to Google it. You're not having to go to Biz by Sell, and then also
Correct. Yeah.
trying to find some broker in that area. So
Absolutely. Yeah, you can search by state and then maybe type in here for industry. Let's say you're into accounting, you could just find quick ones right here. Or if you wanted to add in, I don't know, landscaping, change it up, it's all available
okay,
so that you could pull whatever types of deals right here. So
And
Yeah.
then with the off market stuff, so are you sourcing their financial data as well, or is
Mm.
it more of somebody saying, "Yeah, I'd be interested in discussing this as possibly becoming a seller"?
So very good question. It's, as you know, very difficult to even find information or public information on revenue, EBITDA, et cetera, without stealing tax returns, and that's illegal. So we don't do that, and
Yeah,
nobody should. So we have conversations. You can talk to people, and what they can tell you may give you some insight into their financial picture. But if they're just open to conversations, we'll have information on the off-market deals where, hey, all we have is the contact info. They're about this size. If we can get the employee count, that usually does help kind of estimate, okay, they may be a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. But all of that can be found, just creating an account and looking at, okay, name, phone number, email, website. If I find this business interesting enough, let me just give them a call, because they've already raised their hand saying, yeah, if I'm kind of open to selling, if other people want to have a conversation.
yeah, and I mean, I guess to be fair, the deals that are actually listed, a huge majority of them, the financial information is off from what you actually get anyway. So, um, it's
See,
all
I'm not gonna say that. So if it's listed by somewhere, or if a broker, brings us deals or whatever it might be, yeah, we're not doing complete CPA analysis, kind of ripping the books apart, but we'll go based off the information told to us. So yeah, if it's listed on some biz buy sell or something, that's the exact info that we present. That's the public data.
Yeah, I wonder if you could create another level of it where people could leave feedback on a listing. That'd be kind of cool. Um,
That, yeah, interesting. We've kind of kicked that around. It's the whole, do you leave comments on a Zillow posting or something, like if you're looking at real estate or different houses? But yeah.
yeah, I mean, it would help people out, but I guess it could get a little dicey as well. And then you also don't want these sources blocking you from pulling your
Sure.
data.
Yeah.
Um, cool. Okay. So then, as far as if like a seller was interested in listing, but maybe they didn't want to go through kind of one of the platforms that you pull from, would
Hmm.
they be able to provide more information for you, or do they still
Yeah.
need to list it somewhere and then it gets pulled from there?
I mean, either one. If
Okay.
they're interested in, like, hey, it's a pretty good idea. I'll have tons of conversations. Let me just jump on Cairo, because then maybe I could find a great business owner, or I'm sorry, a great business buyer that would be great, interesting to talk to, maybe a good fit. They can do that. There's ways to do that on our homepage, and just sign up, and then they go through an internal process where we vet, and are you a real business owner? Why are you looking to sell? Give me the story. And then if they check all the boxes, go through that process, then yes, they get added in. But a lot of these that we have that are off market are just from our own internal teams going out and finding businesses. So they make the cold calls, they do the emails, the text messages, all the campaigns.
Cool. Yeah, it's definitely something that's needed out there. And then when a deal does go onto the market, whichever platform you're pulling from, how long does it take for that to go live and then go onto your site?
It varies. There's tons of things where we're not scraping the data. It's public data, and we just have a way and very good, I don't know, systems to have contacts at different brokerages or whatever to determine if it's a fit, like under a 5.5 multiple, and
Mm,
is it this type of business, because we won't list everything. But if it checks all those boxes, it's probably on our site within 24 to 48 hours. It's pretty
great.
fast.
Yeah, that's great. And then do people have the ability of setting up alerts if they're looking for a certain
Hmm.
industry? Okay,
Absolutely. So this little buy box area that I have right here in the top right, you
hmm
can edit that to whatever industry you want, the geography. If you're looking in Texas, Ohio, Florida for a pest control business, every time one gets added, you'll get a notification. You can check it
Yeah,
out.
that's great. I'm sure people will love having that too.
Oh
So
yeah. That's our
cool.
highest engagement is those email opens for, like, hey, we got a pest control business and it's got your name on it.
Yeah,
They love it.
yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. I'm sure the brokers and the sellers and stuff love that too because they feel like you're not necessarily loading it and then just waiting for someone to call. It's
Yeah.
essentially blasting it out to them. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to the lead section, which we
Mhm.
kind of talked a little bit about. There's a lot of people that are out trying to find kind of the secret way of getting to a seller before someone else does. And I've heard so many good stories about people, finding in like off market deal where maybe even the seller didn't even know they could sell, or they were a little bit open to it, and people were always looking for another way to find leads. So are there leads that are included with your $49 a month, and then there's leads that are, you could pay more or anything like that? Maybe kind of walk me through that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, currently we have leads turned on so people can come in and search anything. I'll try to load this on. I know the screen sharing software for the podcast might prevent this from maybe going all the way, but the leads itself, if you get just a standard starter plan for $49 a month, gives you access to all leads, every business that we have. So the 18 million plus businesses within the database. The ones that you can save and export out, we do limit to about 10,000 a month, just on a fair use policy.
That's still a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So 10,000 businesses, if you think you can make that many phone calls a day, or I'm sorry, a month, great.
Yeah. Good
But you
luck.
can pull one up, you can see a CPA, it gives you website, phone number, address, name of it, etc. You can search, like I mentioned earlier, by city or zip code here. If we do have the social links or emails, they'll be added in here as well.
Cool.
But yeah, you're welcome to kind of just like dig around, see tons and tons of data. So this right here, just for Austin, I think it's one of the higher ones we have because that's where Kairos is headquartered. But it's close to 31,000
Wow.
types of businesses just in the city alone. Pulling different cities, going to, or checking different industries out is totally possible. Yeah, if somebody, wanted to pay $49 a month and then they wanted all 18 million businesses, we have it pretty locked up to, prevent kind of nefarious actions, but you can totally click on every single one and then, hand manually copy and paste it. So that's also available. But yeah, we created a way where you can do it yourself, right?
Hmm.
We think looking at deals, it can be all on market, or maybe some of the great off market ones we have, or just getting our own data can be a great resource for somebody just starting out.
Yeah, that's great. So moving down on the left side, you've got lists as the next one. So you
Hmm.
kind of touched on that, but essentially, if somebody's looking in the leads and they find something that's interesting or that they want to kind of keep for later, is that where they would click on that and it would go to their list?
Yes. So let me show you how that works slightly. I think I've maybe saved these as well, but I could click on all of these and then save to list. I
Okay.
can do current selection. I can get 1,000 results if I wanted that, or I can enter a custom amount and then I can, I don't know, 44 or something, choose a test list or click save. It's going to take all of that data, save it into my list. I can go into lists. I can
Wow.
choose and see, yep, here's a lot of them right here. I can export this list. So I can select all, click export. It'll download up here off the tab, but then share everything and then take that as a CSV file and get the industry phone number, email, everything, and load it into my CRM system or load it into, my spreadsheets where I'm making calls from, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that's great. So definitely gives people a few more tools to work
Yeah.
on. Okay,
So
so the next thing is campaign. So maybe walk us through that.
perfect. So campaigns I can hit on. So this is for individuals that love everything that we have for like the do-it-yourself, but they say, hey, you know what, Connor? What sounds better is if I tell you my exact buy box, and then you go out there and do it for me. So this is just a sample one. So fake data information. But if someone said, landscaping, plumbing, roofing companies in Austin, Texas, Atlanta, and Richmond, I need an EBITDA or SE, maybe 1.5 or higher, revenue 4 million. You can add in age of business if you want, employee count. You can see the total number of outreach and then matches we generate for you. You can look at email sent, total responses or positive responses, calls made, successful connections, and then the outreach over time. You can even see the data as we input it directly for you manually. And all questions or anything else like that is handled by everybody's personally assigned account manager, whoever that might be. And then we book businesses directly onto the calendars of our clients that are open to talking. So, if in a good sense, over 4 weeks, maybe we can get a handful. In this case, I think we've showed 12, but you can look at the different businesses, company name, owner name, email, phone number, website, industry, and everything that we've done on our side to just put it together. And all we need from our clients is what's the best calendar that you want us to work with.
Sweet. Yeah, that's great. So they're doing all that work for you. So is there a price per,
Mm-hmm.
campaign, or how does that work? Is it
Yeah, this
all
is more enterprise
adjusted?
pricing. So we're
Okay.
happy to take calls with people because they may say like, "Hey, I need 400 industries and I need it across all 50 states or something, or I need like this many callers to be reaching out to all the data," whatever that might be. And so it can be very custom. It can be anywhere between like we normally do a quarterly subscription model. So it could be just $3,000 a quarter or for a 90-day period after we've done for free all of the legwork, foundation setting, getting the buy box criteria, making sure we have all the data. And then we push the button 90 days or 3 months of cold calls, emails, text messages, 40 plus hours a week. Multiple people directly working for you doing that. So it could be, like I said, 3,000 at a minimum, and then kind of high price or high end would be for like the 3 month period, a $10,000 type of subscription. But that's, like I said, if you've got all the data, we're looking at all 50 states and tons of things. So it depends on where people are at or how focused or niche they might be. And then we just go from there.
Yeah, that's great. So either way, there's options. And a lot of these people, they're searching by themselves, right? And they might
Mm-hmm.
not have the ability to sit there and make all these calls and send all these emails and do all of this. So it gives somebody, an option to do that. I'd assume it also works for family offices or private equity that's looking to roll something up or looking to get into a certain industry or take over an industry. They could use it as well. I'm guessing that's probably
Yep.
the majority of your clients for that.
Absolutely. You can imagine, even if it's a smaller PE firm or even family office, they're looking to go hire an acquisition employee or someone who's just taking over all of those. If we charge, I don't know, hypothetically $4,500 for 90 days, that's paying somebody $1,500 a month or an 18,000 a year salary,
Yeah.
which is below food stamp level. And we're saying, hey, we can knock it all out for you. We have the
Yeah.
data, we have the resources. If you just need it done, this is how it's, pretty much solved.
That's great. Do you have any kind of data yet on how long it's taking or how successful people have been with their campaigns?
I mean, it varies super heavily by industry, right?
Mhm.
So we have a lot of clients that are, hey, give me an online business, e-com or software. That's actually very hard to find owners that are willing to sell and then sell at a multiple or at a place that makes sense for a client to even engage in conversation. Because we do a lot of filtering and vetting, qualifying business owners before we even set that appointment. It's
Mm.
not like, oh yeah, I'd take a call. They say that, and then we have tons of expert callers interview, vet them to be like, great, why are you selling? Tell me some more financial trends, revenues for the business. Um, but if it's more of the service-based businesses, so like cleaning, construction, landscaping, roofing, plumbing, HVAC, those have done extremely well. Over like
Mm.
a 3 month period, we've probably on average been able to place between like 12 and 20 types of
Wow.
different appointments with people, which is great, right? And it's very volume based. So I tell people that all the time. It's like, hey, if you want higher wins, we probably should go after higher volume, which increase or expand geography or maybe industries we're looking at. But yeah, if it's like software or online e-com, it could be a lot lower, like, I don't know, between 1 and 10 over a three
Okay.
month period. But they're direct conversations with these business owners. It's not a bidding war, like I said. And then we just make the connection and hands off.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to kind of figure out what's it worth to you with your time and
Oh,
the
yeah.
capital spent. So it seems to me like it makes sense to do it that way. So
So that's why we have it broken up. I mean, we just got tons of great feedback where it's like, hey, if you want it, do it yourself. Use all the deals we have on platform and all our data. That's super easy. It's just $49 a month. If you want it done for you, we're not going to charge you like a $75,000 a year salary for an acquisitions associate. We'll give you a full team of probably 3 to 8 different dedicated people on our team to your account. And then we'll charge a fraction of that amount to just knock it out for you.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's great. Some awesome tools that somebody can use there, and it definitely helps with your time. So, all right, so maybe we can keep moving. You've also got some engagement, due diligence, valuation. If you want to
Yes.
keep working your way through that, I'm sure it's a whole nother thing we could dive into for hours, probably.
Yeah, I won't. Yeah, we don't have to hit on all of these. In fact, I'll kind of just give the sneak peek. Those little tabs and buttons aren't available for every single account. So just within my admin, I can look at them. Those will be
Okay,
launched in Q4. So October
cool.
1st, those will be rolling out, which will be really fun because, as you can imagine, tons of the feedback we keep getting. Can you give us resources for start to finish? I find a deal and I want to close it. So you can
Mm,
go on there, you can see it and actively kind of pursue it. What people will start to get access to is this dashboard too, where you can input all of your buy box criteria. We can show you exactly how outreach and everything else has gone. And then we start to recommend deals directly to you, and you can see your own deals that you may have saved. If there's upcoming events or assignments or things that kind of filter directly to what you're looking for in a business or a small business, that will all be shown right here. But the engagement side, just for purposes of this call, we haven't cleared everything yet, but it will be rolled out where you see resources showing every single thing.
Yeah, that's exciting. So definitely gives people something to look forward to. And I'm sure you've probably got a long list of other things that you're working on that you'll want to get out
The
soon. So
roadmap is never ending, Jared. The work
yeah.
never stops. You know this.
Oh
So,
yeah. Yeah. I was talking to somebody yesterday about that. It's like you're always trying to find another way to, get to buyers or to sellers before someone else does, or, try to work on other ways of marketing and, being unique and different. So glad you're not just throwing this up there and being done with it. Always got to keep working on it.
absolutely. We want to get better, kind of make it as streamlined as possible. And then, as mentioned, fantastic people like yourself in the industry, working with brokerages, et cetera. If we can just make something that is a great tool and easy to use, and it just finds people coming to Zillow, if that's the same type of example or analogy, great. That's what we see the long-term vision for this, and we want to build it.
Cool. Okay, so one of the things that people have struggled with is, which I feel like you're solving, is finding a business, right?
Mhm.
But then from there, something else that I hear a lot of feedback from the sellers and from the brokers is that the buyers may find something that they are interested in, but they do a poor job of kind of presenting themselves or, um, getting to them in a way that the seller or broker are interested in talking to them. From the data you've got and from kind of mining some of this data and working with the sellers directly, do you have any kind of advice that you would give to a buyer in reference to how they could kind of present themselves when they do have those initial meetings with the sellers?
Yeah, if you're a buyer talking to a seller, even a broker representing said seller, the last thing that you should probably do is start throwing out 16 LOIs a week and hoping one hits. There's nothing that kind of ruins a reputation more than doing that. And that is my first quick stop advice because we've worked with tons of great people. We tell them all the same thing, whether they're PE firms, family offices, or maybe just an individual buyer or search funder, that they're just trying to get as many lines in the water as possible and catch a big fish. It's better to cast all those lines without sending out an LOI, but then starting conversations and presenting yourself in a way that brings your reputation a little bit more stability and credibility, and learning steps along the way to know what to start on, asking due diligence questions, getting your financing in order, actually raising capital if you need to do that for your down payment or otherwise before sending things out.
That was a great answer. All right.
I knew I was probably saying the right thing that you needed
Oh
on your
yeah.
side for sure, but that is hands down the best thing that somebody can do.
Yeah, I've been telling people that for years. It's like, do not shotgun LOIs out. There's a reason that brokers and sellers and then searchers kind of have this tough relationship, I guess we could call it. And so I think on both sides, it's a little bit of, some validity to it. So it's like, it makes sense, right? But like you're saying, we got to really, make sure it's something that you're truly interested in. Just throwing out LOIs to everybody and hoping one sticks, like, just at the end of the day, like you said, you're ruining the reputation for everybody else. You're making everything more challenging. So essentially same question, but if you're having meetings with sellers, you have your group reach out to them, they say they're interested in selling, and then you put them in touch with a buyer. What could you tell a seller to kind of make themselves more presentable, or make their deal kind of more appetizing for a buyer?
Sellers gain, in my opinion, and buyers probably don't want me to say this on the call, but I'll say it anyway. You get so much more added into your EV or enterprise value, purchase price listed on the business or off market, what you're kind of worth, if you can be as transparent as possible initially and as organized as you can be. Meaning, we have tons of calls. I remember I think we talked to the team, all hands on Monday this week, of a seller last week in, I think, a landscaping company. They're super interested, but they wanted like 45 walls of NDAs and everything else before even approaching something, which is fair. Like, it's sensitive financial data. If you want to go through that, fantastic. But if you're going to make people jump through tons and tons of hoops, you're kind of digging yourself into a hole that you don't need to, right? An NDA is great. An NDA is very strong legal protection. Talk to your attorneys for whatever's right for you, but you don't need 45 different things. And I'm exaggerating, like, it is a high multiple of something. But if you're presenting yourself as like, hey, I'm ready to have the conversation, and then you direct it as a relationship, which buyers should also know, that it's way, way easier to get someone to know, like, and trust you if you start on a relationship before, what are you worth? What's
Yeah.
your EBITDA, STE? That's what I'm jumping at. So if sellers can do that first, they actually control a lot of the conversation and discussion, in my opinion.
Yeah, makes sense. So you want to be attractive so people are willing to, conversate with you and move forward, but you also don't want to make it so ridiculously difficult to
Yes,
even get to the table. So yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Again, it's like dating. So, yeah.
There are questions you don't ask on the first date, in my opinion.
True.
And then the same goes for business buying and selling. You don't ask that on the first date.
Yeah.
If you don't know what those questions are, don't go on that first date yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've all heard the crazy stories of the dating stories, right? So I think it falls in line a lot here too. So yeah, some great advice. This is a amazing platform. I'm glad there's something else out there for people. Makes my life easier because everyone always asks me, how do I find that one listing? Like, I keep striking out, or I can't find something that works and stuff. So glad now I have somewhere to point them to. So before we forget, maybe you can spell out the website so people know exactly how to spell it, and then also where people can find you.
Absolutely. Greatest way to find it, website, is just kairodata.com. That is KairoData.com. I'm sure we'll have that and maybe some other stuff in the show notes too, etc. But if you want to get a hold of me, you can message me or the team specifically at TEAM at KairoData.com as an email. Happy to talk to anyone and everyone that has questions.
Cool. Yeah, this has been great. I've got two questions I always ask at the end. So first one is, do you have a mentor, or have you ever had a mentor?
Yes, I've had a mentor, had him since 2016, and life-changing.
Wow, that's great. Cool. Okay, so and then final question, what motivates you?
I get really motivated by the process of figuring things out, And this right here is the $84 trillion problem that people are estimating, generations moving, or business owners in one generation moving to the next. Like, how does it get streamlined or solved? Our platform, in my opinion, is the best, and we have tons of different ways that can go about it. But I don't think we're anywhere close to having something that just with the click of a button makes it the easiest thing for people. So that's what we're out there to build. And we love the people. We've got tons of awesome clients and users that are currently working with us and would love more. But for figuring out that problem, I get so pumped. I get so excited.
Yeah, that's great. So you've done what everybody says to do, is find something you have a passion in and make it a business, and
Yeah.
you'll be successful. So that's great to hear.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, and I appreciate you having me on. It's a fantastic show. Everybody, if you're just watching this YouTube video or maybe seeing it or hearing the podcast or listening to the show, go listen to all episodes because I love
Thank
this.
you.
And I immediately reached out to Jared because I thought, oh, this is fantastic.
Cool. Well, thank you. And I'm sure we'll have you on again when you get some more updates going, and we can
Yeah.
continue to kind of keep the conversation going. And hopefully we can kind of work together to help solve this problem. So appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank
All
you.
right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. We hope you found this podcast informative and helpful. Please don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast player. For more information, or if you'd like to discuss a transaction, please go to www.jaredwjohnson.com.